You had a pivotal conversation with Mohamedou early on in the process. How did that ultimately influence your decision to be a part of this film, and how did it shape the overall experience?
When I read the book originally, I thought this is a fascinating document, and I couldn't see how you turn it into a film. And I also felt like, well, there have been a lot of films about the war on terror. How do I make something that's different? And then I spoke to Mohamedou, and it was the surprise of what he was like, that he wasn't this broken, resentful, angry individual, that he's able to forgive what happened, that he's funny, that he loves movies, that he'll sing the Black Eyed Peas to you, which is what he did on our first call. Um, and I thought, what an interesting character, what a complex character. Here's someone I want to make a film about this man. And that's really what inspired myself and everybody else, the crew and the cast, to make this film against the odds. You know, it's a hard film to get made, was the character of Mohamedou and how inspiring that is, and how, you know, in this day and age, it's still incredible for me to think that there hasn't really been a mainstream American film with a sympathetic Muslim lead, let alone somebody who's a man accused of terror. So to me, that felt like an important thing to try and achieve. So it was an individual, about the individual who is Mohamedou, but it's also about something wider than that.
Yeah, what would you say is the most challenging aspect of bringing this adaptation to life on the screen?
I think getting the script right was incredibly hard because the story takes place over many years. It's full of intricate legal detail that you kind of need to simplify, but not too simplified, that you need to understand in order to, you know, what is habeas corpus? Why, what does it mean to be with, you know, to have detention without charge? Um, you know, what is the process that Stuart Couch, the prosecution lawyer, goes through in order to get hold of the original documentation? Why is he not given the original documentation to begin with? These things are quite technical, and so to incorporate that within a movie was difficult, and also to get the balance right between three. You know, you've got three characters. Obviously, Mohamedou is at the center. You realize within the first half hour of the movie, hopefully, oh, it's about him. He's the main guy. So you kind of, we're playing tricks with the genre, I suppose, that you start off and you feel like, it's a conventional legal thriller. You're going to have the two lawyers and you're going to have the guy in the middle, and is he guilty? But actually very soon it becomes not that. It becomes a character portrait, I suppose, of Mohamedou. So getting all of those tracks running correctly and having three layers of time within it. So you've got the present tense for Mohamedou, you've got the recent past from when he arrived in Guantanamo through until he meets Nancy, and then you've got the deep past, which is flashbacks. So all of these things make it really structurally complex, and so that was the biggest challenge.
Mohamedou's story and experience is one that spans multiple years, like you were just saying. What were the discussions like surrounding the time frame that you decided to focus upon, and the kind of the ending of the film as well?
Well, because I decided that I wanted to tell not just his story, but also something of the legal framework that he was caught in, and therefore include these two lawyers, it felt natural that I be building up to the court case, the habeas case, which is the moment when he's meant to be freed. And for the first part of the film, or the majority of the film, that's what the lawyers are kind of aiming for. They're aiming to get to this court case. And again, that's a familiar kind of structure, which is a good thing to hold on to when you've got all this other complexity going on. And that was really, the court case happened in 7 years, basically halfway through his time of detention. So we really tell the story from when he arrives in Guantanamo through for 7 years. And then at that point, there's a kind of shocking twist, we put it like that, which we can talk about, even though it's a spoiler, but it's, you know, that we think he goes through the case, he wins his case, and then they decide they're going to detain him for another 7 years arbitrarily. So that that felt to me like a really dramatic, you know, it's my favorite use, certainly in my own work, of a caption, of using you know, you finish you finish the movie pretty much, and then you have a piece of information which, whoa, totally upends you and shocks you. And then of course we do go back for a little bit longer. We jump forward 7 years and we see him actually being released, and then we see the real Muhammadu.
Yeah, can you walk us through the editing process? How challenging was it to weave those three stories together while also doing it during lockdown?
Well, actually, doing it during lockdown was a boon, because my editor, who I've worked with many times before, lives very close to me here in North London, and we found a cutting room nearby that we could walk to, and we kind of disobeyed the rules. We didn't totally lock down. We became part of each other's bubbles, and we edited all the way through, but without any interference, without anyone else coming to the cutting room, which was quite nice actually. And so we cut it from, I came back at the beginning of March, I think, last year, and we had it pretty much locked by August. And we we then had to, we were meant to post at the end of August, do the sound and picture post, but I wasn't happy with the score that we had, so we ended up, you know, totally rescoring the film. And because no theaters were open and the festivals were only a shadow of themselves, we thought, well, we'll delay the post a bit, and, you know, it'll come out towards the end of the year. But of course that hasn't happened either.
The film tackles a lot of really important themes throughout. Was there one in particular that hit home for you?
I think, you know, there's two themes that they're vital to me, and the first one sounds incredibly dry and boring, which is the importance of the rule of law, and what happens when you twist the law, when you break it, and what demons are unleashed by that. And the second thing is the importance of humanizing the other. You know, people who we see in a certain way and demonize and don't get to know actually as human beings. Because for me, whether you believe that Muhammadu is innocent or guilty, and obviously I believe he's innocent and there's no evidence to say that he's guilty, but let's just say you're a person who, you know, believes that there must be more evidence out there somewhere, even after 14 years, you have to ask yourself, should anybody be treated like this? Even if he were guilty, should he be treated in this way? And is it right for any human being to be put through what he was put through? And I think that's a profound human test for us all.